Hi there, my name is Bria and this is my content about God. I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm not saying that I'm free of sin, but I do know that I believe in the power of restoration of God. I believe in His grace and His mercy, and I believe in His promise to pour that over us. So today we just need to talk to God a little bit. What I always start with is my daily self-care journal. So I just want to give you a depiction of what basically we talk about, or what entries we need to put into this journal. So the first one, this is literally like a daily check-in. So I want to show you that I have to input today's date, it being the 29th of July 2026. Then there's always like a very nice quote there on top. This one reads that the first step to getting the things you want out of life is this: decide what you want. And that is by Ben Stein. So the first entry is for me to write the 3 things that I'm grateful for in my life right now. I am obviously going to try to be as transparent as possible without, like just not violating too much of my personal information or details. But the 3 things that I genuinely today, where I'm sitting, feel like I'm grateful for. Number 1, I'm very grateful for the gift of life. Number 2, I'm very grateful for my emotional growth. I feel like I have become very emotionally mature, considering how I used to react to situations in the past. Then number 3, I am grateful for my security, because there's just too much going on in the world right now. Right, and then the next entry is, how can I start my day off on a positive note? Firstly, what I will be doing now, which is some Bible reading. I feel like what I can do is just make sure that I am in tune to positive thinking. I also think that maybe if I can just chant out loud these things that I am grateful for. Chant out loud gratitude, so that it fills the room, like fills the walls of this house, and it become the only focus for the day. I'd love that. What would make today great is the next entry. What would make today great for me is just to have a peaceful day. What else would just make today very perfect for me? If I can just have some genuine me time, like skincare, bathing routine, I'd love that. Watching something that is just really for me on TV. What else would make me grateful? Or what else would make today great, rather? Money. If I can just have money in to my account, wherever it's gonna come from. Okay, then what can I do to make a positive difference in someone else's life is the next entry. What can I do? I feel like kindness, you can never go wrong with that, so be kind to someone. I could compliment someone today. That would make them make feel good. Okay, and then in the block there they have what am I looking forward to today. What I am looking forward to is, like I said, just peace. What's the word I'm looking for? Contentment. Yeah, I just want to be okay today, bro. Right. So then at the bottom of this entry book, there are entries you need to put in for like post everything that happened throughout the day. So when you get home afterwards, you can fill in the good things that happened today, how much you would rate today, what your mood was like, and what you are proud of yourself for the day. So I'm done with my daily self-care journal. This is a very, very nice book. And now we go to the prayer journal. So in my prayer journal, okay, today is the 29th, so I'll start off with my date on top, July 2026. Then there is also always a word of the day on top. So this one reads, if life gets too hard to stand, kneel, and period. So I'll start off with my praise to God. They always have this abbreviation here, or acronym I mean here, that they use, ACTS, that is called ACTS. So the A stands for adoration. You must praise God and say like what you admire about him. Confession, asking God for forgiveness. Thanksgiving, what you are thankful for. And then supplication, requesting, what are you asking for from God. So firstly, my adoration. I want to praise Jehovah. If I were to praise him, what would I say to him? It would probably be something like, Jehovah, you are a great and mighty God, because that he is. You have the power to transform someone's life, the power to transform anyone's life. Awesome and wonderful God. Because how else do you explain this feeling of sustenance you get from your encounter with God? Whether the encounter is through prayer, through someone sharing something with you, through you reading the Bible. What do you call that calming feeling? So that can only just be like an example of his greatness and how intense. Like what? We've never seen God like physically, but we know he exists because there is this intense feeling that you get every time you make that contact with him. So okay, the next block is for confession. So I have to ask God for forgiveness for something. So today, from where I'm sitting, Jehovah, I really ask for your forgiveness. Please forgive me for my sin that I'm battling with. He knows what it is, because I try to move forward and overcome it. I have good days where I literally just don't sin with that specific thing, and then there's like days where I just fall back and then just sin again, that I am struggling with. And in your presence, what I know is that God is such a holy God. So for me, I'm genuinely struggling with overcoming this sin that I commit all the time. Okay, then Thanksgiving. What am I thankful for? Jehovah, thank you for the opportunity of knowing you and having a connection with you. Because I know I would have felt so alone. I live in a town away from my immediate family, so most of them are based that side. So I obviously, because this is life, things happen like all the time, so I'm always like faced with the dilemma of going through my challenges like literally by myself. I do have two genuine people that I can, like that I know are a phone call away, but it's different going through something on your own away from like your family home, like, because for myself, my home, like back home, it's a big family. There are always kids around, there's the TV playing, it's always someone is doing this, and before you know it, there are jokes that are being made. And even if it is that you're going through something, I know that even if you live in your house and you're going through something, you do have those like moments where you just go and isolate yourself into your room, and you probably put in your earphones as loud as you can, and you're just like trying to sink deep into that pain so that you can eventually get over it. But before you know it, someone will come and be like, hey, I see you haven't eaten, here's your plate of food. Or someone will come and give you a hug, or someone is always there that you can talk to like in person, and you can genuinely vent what you want to say. And the problem with going through something is that your emotions on that thing do fluctuate. There's no way that you make a decision on whatever pain you're going through and stick to it all throughout the day. I don't know, but maybe other people are more consistent in that regard, but for me, I genuinely feel like that is how I go through something. My emotions are literally like this. So I have maybe in 1 hour, I'm like, you know what, I laugh about it, and then the second or third hour, then that feeling is back again. So it would be nice to always have those like that close-knit family, literally right here, easily accessible, where you can just be like, hey, you know what, you won't be, this person actually took me for granted for ABC, and then the next moment when you're like, but you know what, this person has actually been there for me, this person told me a lesson. So being able to communicate literally all of that you're feeling in real time, it would be great. But so I'm not privileged to that, so hence I'm saying like just the fact that I can talk, because I do find that just like I'm alone here, just going down on my knees and then just telling God what I feel exactly, and crying during that prayer. Then afterwards, eventually the prayer transcends into like praise. From me starting out with like crying and asking for strength, eventually turns into like praise and what I am grateful for, and then that's where I get the sustenance that I feel like I need. So now we get to supplication. What are the requests to God? So what I do request from God is to please give me continued strength, and wisdom in me dealing with this situation I'm currently facing. With this situation, God knows what it is. I am currently facing. Cool. So the next part of this entry for today in the spiritual journal is where I must write the prayer for today, the verse for today, the prayer. Lord help me, and just say what you want help for, and then just more gratitude. So there's a lot of emphasis for me on asking for forgiveness, the supplication part, the praise to God, and being grateful. And if maybe in our lives, in a general sense, we can keep on focusing on those, accentuating those elements throughout our day, what I'm finding is that it shifts my focus of that overwhelming sorrowed feeling throughout the day. Because if you are going through something, you genuinely can find yourself like just drowning in your pain the entire day, not being able to move, not being able to wake up and make up your bed, not wanting to eat. But focusing on this a bit does help me. So this is my Bible. What I have decided to do is start from scratch, from Genesis. So I'm literally starting this journey right off the bat, from the start of the Bible. So I'm currently at Genesis chapter 8. What I do is like highlight certain parts that do stand out for me. So I just read. I try to give myself like 4 chapters a day, or 4 chapters at a time at most. So on Genesis 8, okay, perhaps let me just share with you in the first few chapters what I had highlighted. So in Genesis chapter 1, what I highlighted on that first day was all the parts. Remember, this is just the entire concept of creation. So what I highlighted from Genesis chapter 1 was all the parts where God said, God said, God said, God said, let there be light. God said, let there be waters. God said, let the earth cause grass to sprout. God said, let there be luminaries to the expanse. Everything that God said, it happened like this. God is a magician. So everything that God said, he did, and it came into reality, it came to fruition. I took that as, I highlighted it because for me, it gives me confidence in. That means that every other promise that comes in the rest of the pages of this book, all those things that he says that if you do this, I will give you this. If you do this, I will give you this. It'll happen. Because there it is written that when he just said with the command of his mouth, let this be so. The Bible doesn't say that God took a wand and he extracted, or he structured, or he said. And it also then emphasizes for me the power of the mouth. Even if you continuously say things, you're speaking those things into existence. So we need to be careful also with what it is that we usually say. So that is why I'm trying to go on this journey of just like gratitude, thanksgiving to God, just focusing on the more positive spectrum of life, because I want to bring that into fruition for me. From where I'm sitting today, genuinely my life genuinely is in a better state than I can say it was last year. I can say it was the year before that. So for me, yeah, that just highlights, and amplifies the power, the authority, the grace of God, and just like what he says he will do for you, it'll happen. Okay, then the next thing I had highlighted was in Genesis chapter 6, where God now, after all the badness that was happening with the people on the earth, what they were doing when the angels came down, God then gave an instruction to Noah. So what he said to Noah, it's like, and Noah did, all the commandments he gave to Noah about building the ark so that he could save him, Noah and his family, because they found favor in his eyes. So what stood out for me here is in Genesis chapter 6 verse 22, as well as Genesis chapter 7 verse 5. Both of them, it is highlighted as such. Both of them says that, and Noah did according to all that God had commanded him, he did just so. What that interpretation for me is, Noah listened to God. He just listened to what God said, and he really just executed what God had instructed him to do. No complaints, no questions, no queries, no feelings about it, no, I'm not cool with this or whatever. He just literally did it. For me, that tells me everything that God tells you to do, do it. Because what happened after what happened after Noah did exactly what God told him to do? Him and his family got saved. So yeah, I just need to try to listen to God more. When God says something, just listen to him and do it, and you will be saved. So today I will commence with Genesis chapter 8. I will just be reading for you. It says, "But God gave attention to Noah and to all the wild animals and domestic animals that were with him in the ark. And God caused a wind to blow over the earth, and the waters began to subside. The springs of the watery deep and the floodgates of the heavens were stopped up. So the rain from the heavens stopped falling. Then the waters began to recede progressively from the earth. By the end of 150 days, the waters had subsided. In the 7th month, on the 17th day of the month, the ark came to rest on the mountain of Ararat. And the waters were steadily decreasing until the 10th month. In the 10th month, on the 1st of the month, the tops of the mountains appeared. So at the end of 40 days, Noah opened the window that he had made in the ark and sent out a raven. It continued flying outside and returning until the waters dried off the earth. Later, he sent out a dove to see whether the waters had receded from the surface of the ground. The dove did not find any resting place to perch, so it returned to him to the ark because the waters were still covering the surface of the whole earth. So he reached his hand out and brought it inside the ark. He waited 7 more days, and once again he sent out the dove from the ark. When the dove came to him toward evening, he saw that there was a freshly plucked olive leaf in its bill. So Noah knew that the waters had receded from the earth. He waited still another 7 days, then he sent out the dove, but it did not return to him anymore. Now in the 601st year, in the 1st month, on the 1st day of the month, the waters had drained from the earth, and Noah removed the covering from the ark and saw that the surface of the ground was drying. In the 2nd month, on the 27th day of the month, the earth had dried off. God now said to Noah, "Go out of the ark, you, your wife, your sons, and your sons' wives. Bring out with you all the living creatures of every sort of flesh, of the flying creatures, of the animals, of all the creeping animals of the earth, that they may multiply on the earth and be fruitful and become many on the earth." So Noah went out together with his sons, his wife, and his sons' wives. Every little creature, every creeping animal, and every flying creature, everything that moves out of the earth went out of the ark by families. Then Noah built an altar to Jehovah and took some of all the clean animals and of all the clean flying creatures and of the offered burnt offerings on the altar. And Jehovah began to smell a pleasing aroma. So Jehovah said in his heart, "Never again will I curse the ground on men's account. For the inclination of the heart of men is bad from his youth up. And never again will I strike down every living thing as I have done. From now on, the earth will never cease to have seed sowing and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, and day and night." Chapter 9. God went on to bless Noah and his sons and to say to them, "Be fruitful and become many and fill the earth. A fear of you and a terror of you will continue upon every living creature of the earth and upon every flying creature of the heavens, upon everything that moves on the ground, and upon all the fish of the sea. They are now given into your hand. Every moving animal that is alive may serve as food for you. Just as I gave you the green vegetation, I give them all to you. Only flesh with its life, its blood, you must not eat. Besides that, I will demand an accounting for your lifeblood. I will demand an accounting from every living creature, and from each man I will demand an accounting for the life of his brother. Anyone shedding man's blood, by man will his own blood be shed. For in God's image he made men. As for you, be fruitful and become many, and increase abundantly on the earth and multiply. Then God said to Noah and to his sons with him, I am now establishing my covenant with you, and with your offspring after you, and with every little creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, and all the living creatures of the earth with you, all those that came out of the dark, every living creature of the earth. Yes, I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all flesh be destroyed by the waters of a flood, and never again will a flood bring the earth to ruin. And God added, this is the sign of the covenant that I am making between me and every living creature that is with you for all future generations. I put my rainbow in the cloud, and it will serve as a sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring a cloud over the earth, then the rainbow will certainly appear in the cloud. And I will certainly remember my covenant that I made between me and you and every living creature of every kind, and never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all flesh. Okay, I am noting something that I would want to highlight here. I am appreciating this covenant part. Jehovah is standing on business with the covenant here. And he says that he will certainly remember the covenant that he made between himself and the living creatures of the earth. So for me, how can a mighty God like him have so much feeling toward us as his creation that he takes a covenant serious? Today in life, people make promises and they don't keep them. But God made promises and he keeps them. He takes us, like we're literally nothing to God, but he takes us so seriously that he keeps to those promises. So I feel like maybe if we can all just apply that, taking more seriously the covenants, the promises that we make to people, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in financial businesses, whether it's just promising your child you're going to buy them something, promising your mom you'll show up for something, keep to it, because it denotes how serious you take that person. Okay, let's continue with verse 16. And the rainbow will occur in the cloud, and I will certainly see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and every living creature of every kind of the earth. God repeated to Noah, this is the sign of the covenant that I established between me and all flesh that is on the earth. Noah's sons who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham later became the father of Canaan. These three were Noah's sons, and all the earth's population came from them and spread abroad. Now Noah started off as a farmer, and he planted a vineyard. When he drank of the wine, he became intoxicated and uncovered himself inside his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father's nakedness, and he told his two brothers outside. So Shem and Japheth took a garment and put it upon both their shoulders and walked in backward. Thus they covered their father's nakedness while their faces were turned away, and they did not see their father's nakedness. When Noah woke up from his wine and learned what his younger son had done to him, he said, Cursed be Canaan. Let him become the lowest slave to his brothers. And he added, Praised be Jehovah, the God of Shem. And let Canaan become a slave to him. Let God grant ample space to Japheth, and let him reside in the tents of Shem. Let Canaan become a slave to him also. Noah continued to live for 350 years after the flood. So all the days of Noah amounted to 950 years, and he died. Okay, I am appreciating something here. When Shem and Japheth took the garment to cover their father's nakedness while their faces were turned away and did not see their father's nakedness. You know what I like about this verse? They saw what awkward situation or state the father was in, right? All they wanted to do was to hide that and not expose it. So for me, it's sending a message to us today. We're living in an age and era of cell phones, technology, and social media. Why, when we see someone else being in a shame state, the first thing we run to do is go and record it? And after recording, we don't end there, we post it. What's the word that they use? Okay, here it says Noah cursed him, but I'm saying I rebuke that. Honestly, I don't like that we are posting like shameful states, especially very embarrassing conditions in states and situations that people find themselves in, for other people to find joy from that, recording and then also posting. Why not just when you see something beautiful, run and record that? Why not run and record that? When you see somebody walking by who looks like healthy, glowing skin, record that. There's trends that go on TikTok like, I fell in love with somebody, You can record that, and that person could trend for their glowing and healthy skin. Before you know it, the person could come to the knowledge of them trending and share what their secret is. But instead, if you see that, you'd feel maybe insecure, or you'd feel like kind of insecure, or you'd feel like I don't know, we always have these weird feelings that come up when you see someone else being beautiful. I love seeing beautiful people and I compliment them, females especially, because I know that there's not like an unnecessary attention that will be initiated by that. So with men, I tend to not compliment. I'd rather just keep a distance and keep quiet, because you know that they want to follow up on that as if it's like an invitation of some sort, when it's actually not. So that's what I'm appreciating from this scripture in Genesis chapter 9 verse 23. Let us stop trying to amplify and heighten the shame of our fellow humans on this earth. Let us go to chapter 10 as well. This is the history of Noah's sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Sons were born to them after the flood. The sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tyrus. The sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Riphath,